So, the tobacco for Cohiba is selected from Vegas Finas de Primera, or first-class tobacco fields, in the San Luis and San Juan Martinez zones of the Volta Abajo region of Pinar del Rio province. All Cohibas were made initially at El Aguido, but production of some vitolas was later moved to Partagas factory, which manufactured Cohibas from pre-blended tobacco received from El Aguido. This wasn't until a long time later, and now that Partagas is closed, I'm not really sure if they're doing that anymore or not. Let's see. The Seco and Lajero is given an exclusive third fermentation. The standard line is medium full, while the Linea 1492 is medium bodied. Cohiba is a global brand and classified as the flagship brand of Habanos S.A, holding a major market share. Figures from 2009, I found it's very hard to find recent figures on stuff like this, but on 2009 show it as the fourth most popular selling brand in the world, with 12% of all cigars sold, equaling 20% of total revenue. Now that's the interesting thing. Don't want to let this go out anymore. Getting very strong and spicy toward the end here. Still really nice flavor. Although Romeo y Julieta and Partagas sell 15% and 12% respectively, putting them at second and third place, they each only earn 12% in total revenue. Each 12 and 12. So Cohiba making 20 at fourth place, very expensive. They make a lot of money off Cohiba. Only Monte Cristo makes more as the world's most popular brand by far, accounting for 23% of all cigars sold and earning 29% of all revenue. Even as so, you see almost twice as many, 12% is Cohiba, so almost twice as many cigars sold, but not even double, not nearly double total revenue. So Cohiba makes the most per capita, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Cohiba bands have changed over time. The first band shown here was the original. This one was probably the one created by Rivera when he was getting ready to brand Cohiba. And it only lasted from 1969 to 1970. Interesting. This well-known dotted band was used for a long time, from 1970 to 1993. Extremely easy to counterfeit. The first checkered band was introduced and ran from 1993 to 2003. Equally easy to counterfeit. It was finally replaced by the band we all love and have come to know very well, the embossed golden Cohiba band shown right here. Newer bands with holograms and added security measures have been used for the Behique and Pyramids Extra alone. This band for the Pyramids Extra shown here may one day replace all existing Cohiba bands, in my opinion. After all, the Pyramid Extra, while it stands alone because of its band, it really is part of the standard line blend. There are 6 sizes in production for the original line and 6 for the Siglo line, Linea 1492. The Behique and Maduro lines both have 3 sizes each. And then there's the new Pyramids Extra, as I just said, really in a class of its own only because of the special band, but technically part of the classic line. Only the Corona was discontinued. It's the only cigar that was discontinued from the classic line due to a size overlap with the Siglo line. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, friends. So let me just wrap this up and we'll do our final third. Only 5 edition limitadas have been released for Cohiba and 1 Gran Reserva. Other exceptional releases include the Millennium Jar, of which 10,000 were made, and the 30th Anniversary Jar, of which only 1,000 were made. Also, the Reserva Selection Series and the Habanos Collection, the Cuban Book Series, containing Sublime Extra. There will be another Edición Limitada release, supposedly this year, 2014. It is not out yet. It is to be dubbed the Magnificos, and so save your bucks, Cohiba junkies. That's it. That wraps up this episode. Let's talk about our final third. Very nice. Smooth to the very end. The aroma, it's very, very interesting. It's kind of a little dank. It almost reminds me, it's a little musty, you know. It's floral, but a little musty. It's an interesting type thing. You can almost smell that fermentation. Very smooth. Flavors really change very little. They amplify. That's what I'm finding. There are no added twists and turns. I wouldn't call this an overly complex cigar. Sure, it has a good amount of complexity to it. I'd probably, as far as my ratings can go, I'll put it right in the middle. I'd like to say it's more than a 0.5, but under a 0.75, but I'm not doing that kind of thing. You know, you got these bean notes. The very end here, what I don't like about Robusto formats is the nubs always get hot. Once you get to this ring gauge and up, this is a 49, they tend to burn hot at the end, causing flavors to diminish. But overall, you know, it had a very nice bassy profile. Not a lot of sharp notes, a little bit of twang, a little bit of spice, a lot of bean notes, a lot of coffee flavors, especially toward the end. We had that section with some nice vanilla notes opening up with the heat. But I would say my favorite attribute to this cigar is the fact that it's so smooth and so strong at the same time. And when I say so strong, I mean relatively for how smooth it is. It's not an overly strong cigar. It's very well balanced. That I must say. Very well balanced. From beginning to end, it only took a few puffs for me to start feeling, you know, then it picked up. But even here at the very end, I'm feeling nice and it's not blowing me away. Not like the La Excepcion or anything like that. It is strong for a Cuban cigar. I'd say that it's a little under a Partagas D4, but almost at that level. Not quite at the Bolivar level as far as strength goes. All in all, it was a great cigar. You know, it's a Cohiba. It's a Cohiba, and that's all it is. It's another Cuban cigar. I wouldn't say that I found this to be anything like so dynamite I'm going to run out and buy 5 boxes. You know, I've never been a huge Cohiba guy. I think it's one of those cigars, kind of like the Cuban version of an Opus X. There's so much in the name, so much expectation rides on the name that people get lost when they start smoking a cigar and realizing that it's just another cigar, you know. But it's a good cigar. It is a good cigar, and it's very well made. It's very well balanced. It has a lot of great flavor. It's very enjoyable, you know. But half the time for the money, I'd probably rather just buy a box of Partagas D4s. That's me. So that's about it. We're going to close it up, give our final rating, take a few snapshots of the band, whatever. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed putting it together. As always, from doing this, I learned more than I thought I could ever know. Recently, someone had posted asked me some more questions along, not really personal questions, but not having to do with cigars. You know, how long have I been, kind of having to do, how long I've been smoking, how do I feel about this, that. I will be posting the answer to that. What I'm getting at is that, what I always say is no matter what, I've been into this almost 15 years smoking cigars. Longer than that if you count my brief encounters when I was in my teens, not taking it seriously at all. But I've been smoking cigars for a long time and studying cigars I would say even to the level of studying cigars. You know, studying the brand history, studying how they're made, studying the brands, the players, and every time I do an episode, and every time I pick up a new cigar. I learned so much. It's just it's one of those hobbies. You can be a cigar smoker, pick up a few cigars for fun, on a whim. Maybe you smoke a few cigars on the golf course or after a few drinks, whatever. Or you can take it to the level where it becomes a lifetime journey of just like, and that's, for me, that's what it has been so far. It's like I'm just fascinated with them. I'm fascinated with the culture. I'm fascinated with just everything that goes along with it, the artwork, and of course the tobacco, the cigars themselves. And I think the Cohiba story, or the lack thereof, is really a good example of what makes it so interesting to me. Or really, better put, a good example of how there can be so much more than just smoking cigars. Anyway, that's that. Once again, I hope you enjoyed. Let's do our final review. Now I can go off air and enjoy my nub for a little bit. That was a mouthful. And there we go. There is our Cohiba Robusto. Excellent smoke. I really liked it. It was absolutely an exceptional Cuban smoke. Not the best I ever had, but far from the worst. We'll go over our final scoring. I put together our little ash clumps there just to show that this is an exceptionally well-crafted Cuban cigar. Not a lot of Cuban cigars I can end up doing that with, the way I smoke. A lot of times ash drop, this, that. But this thing just burned great. Nice, tight clumps of ash. Really well rolled. So, appearance, it looked beautiful. Of course, just looked like a classic Cohiba. Really dark reddish brown, oily wrapper. Exceptional aroma. It just really just looked like a great smoke. So, a 1 right there. Construction, like I just said, a 1. Perfect burn. So, the only thing I knocked off a quarter for a draw because it was a little tight at the beginning and started getting a little tight at the end. Opened up fine in the middle, but whatnot, 0.75. Either way, though, the construction, just looking at that, you can tell is exceptional. Pre-draw flavor, 0.5. I gave a little low on that. I wasn't overly impressed. I could tell that there were a lot of different things going on, but it could have been more flavor. Overall flavor, a 1.5. Found a lot of nice notes in there, especially after the first third and second third really opened up. Like I keep saying, definite amplification of flavors as the cigar burned on. Aroma, 0.75, just definitely above average. I mean, really, really interesting aroma, very unique. Like I said, a very, very musty type smell, musty type undertone to the floral, sweet floral smells that were going on. Very interesting. Balance, a 1. A decent strength. Very decent strength for a Cuban cigar. Medium full, I would say, leaning toward the full side. Like I said, not as strong as a Partagas D4, but just under. And balance-wise, it was great. Just what I like to see. I feel really good all the way throughout without going overboard. Really, really good. Complexity, also a 0.5. Believe it or not, I did not find this cigar to be as complex as a lot of people make it out to be. I hear a lot of people, oh, Cohiba is such a complex cigar. Maybe it's so complex that I didn't realize its complexity. I don't know, whatever you want to say. I gave it a 0.5. I thought the flavors were pretty straightforward and remained pretty consistent throughout. All in all, an 8.0. Very clean, refined, exceptionally smooth, delicioso. And I wrote that, exceptionally smooth, because that is probably the one characteristic of this cigar that I enjoyed the most. Along with the great flavor, the smoothness just did it for me. The way I was able to just breathe the thing through my nose, practically inhale it without any problem at all. Really, really nice, smooth cigar. And so that's that. Cohiba Robusto. So, once again, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I had a blast putting it together, and it's finally out of the way, so you can all stop bugging me for Cohiba. I'm only kidding. I had a great time doing it. Next up, we're going to go right back to Tatuaje, not leave it too long, because we want to remember how that Petit Lancero was in comparison, I'm talking Tatuaje Black. The jar came in, you'll see, a little, I don't know what to say about that, but fuck the jar. Even with that, Cuban cigars in general, you get what you pay for. You really do. 90% of the time, that's what I found to be more true than anything. You get what you pay for when it comes to cigars. And basically, let's just say the jar was included for free. The cigars being $10 a piece, it's still a fantastic deal. But we're going to see how good they really are. I'm looking forward to it. They smell really strong. They smell oily, I would not say don't order them. I wouldn't say don't order them simply because the jar is not what I thought it would be or anything. Still, by all means, order them, because if you like super strong, full-bodied cigars, I think they're going to be really good. From what I smell and what I see and what I feel, they're going to be great. All that's left is to taste the fucking thing. So we will do that in our next episode coming up soon. Keep on smoking. Say goodnight, Max.